There's a reason you feel this way. A quiet dissonance that hums beneath the surface of your smile. A reason you've mastered the art of "I'm fine," while something far more real screams in the silence within. And tonight, we're going to expose it not as a failure or a flaw, but as a psychological survival mechanism that has overstayed its welcome, a deeply ingrained pattern we are going to understand and gently dismantle together. Right here, right now, in the quiet of this moment. You see, the psychology of people who pretend to be okay is not a simple lie. It's a complex, elegant, and heartbreaking fortress built brick by brick from a primal need to belong, to be loved, to be safe. And to understand this fortress is to understand a fundamental part of the human condition, perhaps even a part of yourself that you've been hesitant to acknowledge until this very second. Let's go deeper. This isn't about the occasional white lie to a co-worker. This is about the sustained, systemic creation of a separate self, a curated identity designed for public consumption, while the true self, the vulnerable, scared, messy, glorious, and authentic self, retreats into the shadows, learning to speak only in whispers, a silent tenant in the home of your own body. What no one tells you is that this pretense is one of the most exhausting full-time jobs a person can ever hold. A performance where you are the actor, the director, the critic, and the captive audience, a play that never ends. Not even when the curtains close and you are utterly, completely alone. Because the role has become so ingrained that you've forgotten where the character ends and you begin. But here's the truth. This pattern began as an act of genius, a brilliant adaptation your mind crafted long ago, likely in childhood, to navigate a world that felt unpredictable, overwhelming or conditional, a world where your tears were met with annoyance, your anger with punishment, or your needs with disappointment. So you learned, with the sharp intuition of a child, that to be safe was to be manageable, to be lovable was to be easy, and to be okay was to be worthy of the space you occupied. Pause just for a second and notice what that just revealed in the quiet of your own chest. You've felt this before, haven't you? That ancient, reflexive tightening when a genuine feeling threatens to surface, the internal sensor that quickly slams the door shut before the real you can step into the light. Ask yourself this now, gently, without judgment. When was the very first time you learned that your authentic emotional state was not welcome? The memory might be hazy, a fragment of a feeling, a look on a parent's face, a teasing comment on the playground. But it's there, the seed from which this mighty, wearying tree has grown. Let me tell you about Alex, a fictional name for a very real feeling you might recognize. Alex was the rock of his friend group, the one everyone called at 2 a.m. with their crises, the one whose own phone never rang with a check-in, because he had perfected the art of seeming so impeccably strong that no one could possibly imagine he was drowning inside. His fortress built on the belief that his value was solely in his utility, that to have a need was to be a burden. And so he curated a life of silent service, his own heart screaming into a void he himself had meticulously constructed, until one Tuesday, utterly ordinary, he was loading the dishwasher, and the simple act of placing a mug in the wrong rack suddenly, inexplicably, brought him to his knees, sobbing on the kitchen floor, not over the mug, but over the crushing weight of a lifetime of unspoken sorrows. A dam breaking not from a tidal wave, but from the cumulative pressure of 1,000 suppressed raindrops. You see, the mind creates this pattern because, at its core, it is trying to protect you from perceived threats. The threat of abandonment, of judgment, of rejection, of being seen as too much or not enough. And this protective part of you, Let's call it the guardian, is not your enemy. It is a loyal soldier, following outdated orders from a war that may have ended long ago. Its strategy one of emotional concealment, a form of psychological camouflage designed to make you blend in, to not make waves, to ensure you remain part of the tribe, because for our ancient ancestors, exile from the tribe was a death sentence. And that primal fear is still wired deep within our limbic brain, whispering cautions even in the face of modern emotional risks. This is why the pretense feels so instinctual, so automatic. It's a well-worn neural superhighway, a default setting your brain flips to under the slightest perceived social threat. And to break this pattern, we must first thank the Guardian for its service, for keeping you safe, for allowing you to function, before we can gently, compassionately begin to show it that new, safer strategies are now available, that you are strong enough now to handle the truth of your own experience. You feel it making sense already, don't you? That shift from self-criticism to curiosity, from why am I so broken, to how did I learn to survive this way? This reframe is the first and most crucial step towards your freedom. The hidden emotional triggers are often echoes of these old, outdated orders, and they show up in our daily lives in deceptively simple ways. A casual comment from your boss that lands like a physical blow, a friend canceling plans that sends you into a spiral of unworthiness, the quiet anxiety that descends in a room full of laughing people when you feel utterly alone, the compulsive need to curate a perfect social media post that stands in stark contrast to the messy reality of your living room, the relentless drive to achieve one more thing, acquire one more object, in the desperate hope that this external validation will finally quiet the internal critic that says you are not okay as you are. These triggers are not random. They are precise alarms pointing directly to the wound beneath the armor. The fear that you are inherently flawed, that your true self is unlovable, and that if people were to see the real, unfiltered you, they would inevitably turn away, confirming your deepest, most secret insecurities. Let's go deeper still. The fortress has many gates, and one of the most common is perfectionism. The relentless pursuit of flawlessness not as a virtue, but as a shield, a way to preemptively avoid criticism by being, in theory, beyond reproach, but this is a trap. Because perfection is a myth, and the pursuit of it only leads to a cycle of anxiety, procrastination, and self-flagellation when you inevitably fall short of the impossible standard you've set. Another gate is hyper-independence, the declaration of I don't need anyone that feels empowering, but is often just isolation in disguise, a way to avoid the vulnerability that comes with asking for help, with relying on another, because if you never lean on anyone, they can never let you down. But the cost is a life lived in an emotional bunker, safe from disappointment, but also starved of the genuine connection that gives life its meaning. And then there is the gate of constant humor, using wit and self-deprecation as a deflector shield, always making light of your own pain before anyone else can see its depth, ensuring that you are the source of laughter, never the source of someone's concern or, God forbid, their pity. A brilliant strategy that nonetheless leaves your true sorrows untouched and uncomforted. Pause here. Notice the weight of the mask you might be wearing. Which of these gates feels most familiar to you? Is it the need to be perfect, the refusal to need others, or the compulsion to turn everything into a joke? Ask yourself this now. What is one small, genuine feeling you edited out of your day-to-day? The flicker of irritation you swallowed, the pang of sadness you dismissed, the spark of joy you muted because it felt too vulnerable to express? Just noticing this is a revolutionary act. This brings us to our first weapon, the tool we will use to begin disarming the Guardian's old strategies. And this weapon is radical self-awareness, the practice of becoming a compassionate observer of your own inner world, not to change it immediately, but simply to see it with clear, kind eyes. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. This is about moving from autopilot to manual control. It means catching the moment the Guardian wakes up. It's that tightness in your chest when someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you automatically say yes, with a smile that feels painted on. It's the impulse to say no worries, when you are in fact deeply worried. It's the mental script you rehearse before a social event, the one designed to present the best version of you. Your task is to simply notice these moments, to tag them in your mind with a gentle internal whisper. Ah, there is the pretense. There is the Guardian doing its job. Step 2. Reframe the story. Once you've recognized the trigger, you challenge the underlying narrative. The story is usually something like, if I show I'm upset, they'll think I'm weak, or if I admit I'm struggling, I'll be a burden. Reframing is about finding a more compassionate, more accurate truth. It sounds like, my vulnerability is a sign of courage, not weakness, or my needs are valid and the right people will want to support me, or it is human to struggle and I am allowed to take up space with my feelings. This isn't positive thinking, it's truthful thinking, a correction to the distorted beliefs you've been carrying. Step 3. Replace the pattern. This is where you build a new neural pathway. After you recognize the trigger and reframe the story, you choose one tiny, brave, authentic action. It doesn't have to be a grand confession. It can be as simple as when someone asks how you are, you say, "You know, it's been a long day actually," instead of, "Fine, thanks." It's texting a friend back with, "I'm struggling a bit, could we talk later?" Instead of leaving their message on read, because you don't have the energy to perform being upbeat. It's allowing your face to reflect your actual feeling for just a moment, instead of automatically arranging it into a pleasant, neutral mask. You're starting to see it now, how this isn't about tearing down the fortress with brute force, but about quietly, patiently, building a new door, an exit from the performance into the fresh air of your own reality. Let me tell you about Sarah, who wore the mask of constant cheerfulness so diligently that her own family had no idea she had been battling a period of profound depression for months. Her breakthrough didn't come in a therapist's office, but in the passenger seat of her sister's car, when her sister was venting about her own bad day. And Sarah, instead of offering her usual upbeat advice, simply let the silence hang for a moment before saying, in a voice so small it was almost a whisper, "I don't know how to be happy today either." The car didn't crash. Her sister didn't recoil. She simply reached over, squeezed Sarah's hand and said, "Me neither. Thank you for telling me." And in that moment the fortress didn't crumble, but a single beautiful window was opened, letting in a sliver of light and connection that had been blocked for years. That is the power of replacing the pattern with one moment of raw, unedited truth. But here's the truth. Awareness alone isn't enough if the underlying emotional energy remains trapped in the body, a coiled spring of unexpressed grief, anger, and fear, which is why our second weapon is somatic release, the process of allowing your body to finally speak the language your words have been suppressing for so long. You see, the body keeps the score. It stores the memories of every time you swallowed a tear, stifled a shout, or forced a smile, and this stored energy creates physical tension. The tight jaw, the stiff shoulders, the knot in the stomach, the shallow breath that becomes the physical architecture of the "I'm fine" facade. A living monument to everything you haven't said. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. This time you're recognizing it not just as a thought, but as a physical sensation. When the urge to pretend arises, drop your awareness into your body. Where do you feel it? Is it a clenching in your gut, a pressure in your chest, a numbness in your limbs, a buzzing in your hands? Just scan and notice without trying to fix it. Your body is speaking its truth. Your first job is to listen. Step 2. Reframe the story. The story your body is telling is, this feeling is dangerous. It must be contained. Your reframe is, this sensation is just energy. It is a message. It is safe for me to feel this. This feeling will not destroy me. You are giving your nervous system permission to complete the cycle, to discharge the fight or flight energy that gets trapped when we freeze and pretend. Step 3. Replace the pattern. This is where you give the energy a safe pathway out. It doesn't have to be dramatic. If you feel a scream trapped in your throat, you can go for a drive and scream into a pillow. If you feel tears behind your eyes, you can let them fall in the shower, giving your body the physical experience of release. If you feel restless, trapped energy, you can put on music and shake your entire body for 3 minutes, literally shaking off the facade. You can practice sighing, a long, slow, audible exhale, which is your body's natural reset button for the nervous system. This is about becoming a safe container for your own physical experience, teaching your guardian that the body can be trusted to process what the mind has been afraid to hold. Pause. Take 1 breath, deep into your belly. And as you exhale, imagine you are breathing out through the soles of your feet, releasing just a little of that stored tension down into the earth. You felt this weight for so long, haven't you? That physical cost of constant composure. Ask yourself this now. Where in your body does the I'm fine live? Put a hand there gently and just breathe into that space, offering it a moment of simple, wordless kindness. Our third weapon, perhaps the most challenging and the most transformative, is the cultivation of vulnerable communication, the art of translating your inner world into words and sharing it with another human being, thereby transforming your hidden shame into shared humanity, your isolation into connection. This is the ultimate dismantling of the fortress, because it requires you to lower the drawbridge, not for an invasion, but for an invited guest, someone who has earned the right to see the real landscape of your heart. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. The trigger here is the opportunity for connection that you typically avoid. It's the moment a friend asks a genuine, open-ended question. It's the quiet intimacy that arises when the small talk dies down. It's the impulse to change the subject when the conversation turns toward anything real about you. Recognize that clenching fear, the guardian shouting, "Abort mission." Return to surface level. Step 2. Reframe the story. The old story is, vulnerability is weakness. I will be judged or rejected. The new reframed story is, vulnerability is courage. It is the birthplace of intimacy and true connection. The right person will meet my vulnerability with care. Sharing my truth is how I find my tribe. Step 3. Replace the pattern. This is the brave action. It's using a feeling statement. It's as simple as saying, I feel a little nervous saying this, or I've been carrying this around and I'd feel better if I shared it. It's starting small. It's not about trauma dumping on an acquaintance. It's about sharing a minor worry with a trusted friend. It's saying, I actually felt really insecure after that meeting, instead of pretending it was fine. It's the practice of letting someone see a crack in the armor and discovering that instead of attacking the wound, they often offer a balm. Let me tell you about Ben, a man who had built his identity on being the easygoing one, the guy who never got ruffled, who always went with the flow. until his relationship was on the brink of collapse because his partner felt she was living with a pleasant stranger, a charming echo who never fought, never disagreed, but also never truly showed up. His transformation began not with a grand gesture, but with a single, shaky sentence during a disagreement about vacation plans. When he looked at his partner, and instead of saying his usual, "Whatever you want, honey," he took a breath, clenched his sweaty hands, and said, "I feel really anxious when I feel like my opinion doesn't matter. And honestly, I'd love to go to the mountains this year." The world did not end. His partner didn't leave. She looked at him, truly looked at him, with more love and connection than she had in years, and said, "Thank you for telling me. I want to know what you want." In that moment, Ben didn't just state a preference for a vacation. He invited his partner back into the real relationship, the one he had been hiding from for a decade. You feel the power of that, don't you? The seismic shift that occurs not from changing who you are, but from finally allowing who you are to be seen. But here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and a lifetime of pretense is a massive drain on your emotional resources, which is why our fourth and final weapon is the practice of relentless self-nourishment. The active, intentional replenishment of your own spirit. The act of building an inner well of worthiness so deep and so clear that you are no longer desperate for external validation. To feel okay, you are okay because you are actively, daily, caring for the authentic self within. This is the antidote to the depletion that the "I'm fine" mask causes. Step 1, recognize the trigger. The trigger here is the feeling of emptiness, resentment, or burnout. It's that hollowed-out sensation after a day of people-pleasing. It's the bitter thought, "After all I do for everyone, no one does anything for me." That feeling is a flashing red light on your dashboard, signaling that your internal resources are critically low and you are running on the fumes of pretense. Step 2, reframe the story. The old story is, "Taking time for myself is selfish. I should be productive or available to others." The new story is, "My needs are not an interruption to my life. They are the foundation of it. Filling my own cup is not selfish. It is essential. I cannot offer genuine kindness to others from a place of resentful depletion. My rest and my joy are productive in the currency of a well-lived life." Step 3, replace the pattern. This is about scheduling self-nourishment as you would any other critical appointment. It's the non-negotiable 20-minute walk alone, where you don't listen to a podcast but just listen to your own thoughts. It's saying no to an extra commitment without offering a long justifying explanation. It's buying the book you want to read instead of feeling you don't deserve it. It's taking 5 minutes to simply stare out the window, allowing your mind to wander and rest without stimulation. It is the radical act of treating your own well-being as the most important project you will ever manage. Pause. Notice the resistance that might come up at the thought of prioritizing yourself. That's the guardian, terrified that if you stop serving others, your value will disappear. You've felt this guilt before, haven't you? The guilt that arises when you even think about putting yourself first. Ask yourself this now. What is one tiny, nourishing act you can gift yourself before this day is over? A cup of tea enjoyed in silence? 5 minutes of stretching? Listening to one song you truly love all the way through without multitasking? Do that for yourself. You deserve that care, not because you've earned it, but because you exist. This is the integration. The point where the weapons stop being tools you use and start becoming who you are. A person who is aware of their inner landscape, who listens to the wisdom of their body, who communicates from a place of authentic vulnerability, and who fiercely protects their own inner peace and joy. This is freedom. It's not the freedom from ever feeling sad or anxious or angry again. That is an impossible and inhuman goal. It is the freedom to feel those things without the added, crushing weight of having to pretend you don't. It is the freedom to have a bad day and say, "I'm having a bad day," and know that this statement is enough. It is the freedom to receive a compliment without instantly deflecting it because it doesn't align with your hidden self-view. It is the freedom to look in the mirror and meet the eyes of the person you see, not the curated avatar you present to the world, and feel a sense of recognition, of coming home. This is the ultimate psychology fix for the psychology of people who pretend to be okay. To realize that the fortress was never keeping the world out. It was keeping you, your true self, imprisoned. And that the key has been in your pocket all along. Not to lock the door, but to finally, bravely, turn it and step out into the liberating air of your own unedited life. You can end the psychology of people who pretend to be okay pattern tonight, not with a monumental effort, but with this one decision, this one commitment to authenticity that you will reaffirm with every conscious breath from this moment forward. Let me leave you with one final story about Maya, who had spent a lifetime being the good girl, the reliable one, the one whose own desires were always secondary, until the accumulated weight of her silence manifested as a constant, low-grade ache in her soul, a feeling of being a ghost in her own story. Her moment of transformation was quiet, almost imperceptible to an outsider. It happened on a Sunday evening when a friend called and asked, "What do you feel like doing?" And for her entire life, her automatic response had been, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" But this time she paused. She dropped her awareness into her body. She felt the slight tension. She reframed the story from "my wants are a burden" to "my wants are valid." And she took a breath and said, her voice a little tentative but clear, "You know, I'd really love to just stay in and watch a movie, but I'm tired." And her friend said, "Oh, thank God, me too. Let's do that." And as she hung up the phone, Maya didn't feel a seismic shift in the universe, but she felt a quiet, profound realignment within herself, a sense of having finally shown up to her own life, of having chosen herself, and in that choice she felt, for the first time in as long as she could remember, not just pretending to be okay, but actually, deeply, authentically, okay. And that right there is the destination. Not a state of perpetual happiness, but a state of profound alignment, where the person you are on the inside is the person you are on the outside, where your presence is a gift, not a performance, and where the quiet, compelling truth of you is finally allowed to breathe. You've journeyed deep into this tonight. You've faced the shadows and you've been given the maps, and now the rest, the beautiful, messy, real rest, is up to you.